Nikki.
Yeah.
Where are we?
We're in Hong Kong!
And what hotel are we in?
We're staying at the Ritz.
What floor are we?
117.
Let's take a look at the view. It's a little bit hazy, but generally you can still see. There's Hong Kong across the way. We are on the Kowloon Peninsula. There are the little ferries that aren't so little, but when you're 117 floors up, everything looks pretty tiny. We had 36 hours to explore Hong Kong, which made a perfect layover spot because one of my old college roommates, Adam, and his wife, Grace, have lived there for the past year. They both made great tour guides. This is the top of Victoria Peak, the highest point in the city. And of course they knew great places to eat, like this Peking duck restaurant, which made for a great send-off to our next location. This is Chiang Mai. Located in the far north of Thailand, it was an ancient imperial capital of the Siam Empire. The city feels much smaller than it is, and it has a really laid-back vibe. That might be because there's a monastery literally on every single corner. The old part of the city is surrounded by a moat, and it's quite small. The best way to get around is on one of these.
And this is a tuk-tuk.
Tuk-tuks are great for short rides, but if you want to go out of the old part of the city, like we did here for a fresh cup of Thai coffee, it's best to jump in the back of a pickup truck. We are in one of those trucks. Salta, I think it's called. The red pickup trucks that you just jump in the back of and they take you in their direction for about 60 cents a piece. It's a good deal. The monasteries, or wats, in the city were very nice, but the most impressive we saw was actually located outside of Chiang Mai.
Here we are outside of Chiang Mai, high on a hill, and this is the some kind of monastery.
I was worried forgetting the Wat's name might give Nikki bad luck, so I insisted she get blessed by this monk. Back in Chiang Mai, this Wat is one of the best known for its 13th century elephant pagoda. Elephants are everywhere in Thailand, and if you want to see one, all you have to do is jump in a car and head out of the city. Hey, little guy. This is the Ban Chang Elephant Park, about an hour outside of Chiang Mai in the mountains, where you can spend the day playing with, feeding, and riding on 25 very friendly elephants. So scratchy. Oh,
Mail some more. She knows you have more. You have more. Jump.
After you butter them up with bananas and sugar cane, you get to learn some basic commands before your trek into the jungle.
Just that.
The camp is very animal friendly too. All the elephants have been rescued from abusive situations. They don't play soccer or draw pictures. And they don't put saddles on the elephant either. You have to ride them bareback, which puts much less stress on their backs. And if you don't think the elephants enjoy all the attention they're getting, then you've never given an elephant a bath. After 3 nights in Chiang Mai, we jumped on a plane and headed across one of Thailand's borders to our next stop. Deep in the heart of the Cambodian jungle lay the ancient ruins of a city most commonly referred to by the name of its largest temple, Angkor Wat. The name Angkor Wat came from this building, a 9th century temple built by the Khmer people. But the Khmer people left behind a lot more than just one temple. Angkor is certainly the biggest and most famous of the buildings the Khmer's left behind, but it's just one of a series of temples and actual cities that have been left to rot in the jungle over the last 1,000 years.
Called Skanda, that known as the god of war. He is the son of Shiva god.
There's Nikki taking photos at Angkor Wat. The Angkor Temple is very impressive, but given the amount of time and effort spent preserving it, as well as its proximity to town, the crowds here were larger than almost any other ruin. To get the real Indiana Jones experience, you had to leave the beaten path. If I had to pick a favorite temple, it would be this place, Bang Melia. About an hour away from Angkor Wat, it's located deep in the jungle. Also, it's next to a minefield. This place still lies in the ruinous state it was found in. Many of the temple's once grand galleries are now almost nothing more than a pile of rubble. The giant piles of bricks made this place awesome to explore. Just had to be careful where we were putting our hands, as the place was infested with termites, lizards, and snakes.
Pretends like you are one of the movie stars.
Alright, we are still in Bang Melia Temple, the ruins of Bang Melia Temple. And just to show you that there really is no one around at all, this is a 360-degree turn. This is just us exploring the temple in the rain with the lizards and the bugs. There's Nikki with her umbrella. Hi, Nikki. We are going along what was a hallway. And there is Marty. Say hi, Marty.
Hi.
And this is the ruins of Bang Melia Temple. Very, very interesting.
Here we are at the Hindu temple Tak Kail. We are going to attempt to climb the steps. This place was built in 985?
965.
965.
We are going all the way up there.
And this is the top.
We are in a Cambodian style tuk-tuk, which is a little bit different. It's a motorbike with a little basket hooked up on the back with wheels, and that's how you get around in the scenery of Cambodia. Like these little things. This was another favorite temple, Ta Prong. This temple, built for the king's mother, looks like it's being invaded by an army of sponge trees. But there was another reason that I thought this temple might just be the most interesting we saw. So we are in the Ta Prong Temple in Angkor Wat, and one of the most incredible carvings here, there's a fish, and then above it is a stegosaurus. carved almost exactly as it is in the jungle of Cambodia in the 12th century. And then after the fish to the dinosaur, we see a mammal, and finally a person. So apparently the 12th century Cambodians knew something about evolution. But that is incredible. There were no dinosaurs around here, no fossils, and somehow they knew what it was.
Here we are at the Banyan Temple at Angkor Wat.
This is the last temple I'll show here, the Bayan Temple. It's famous because every one of its towers has a massive carved stone face, said to be that of the king who built it. If you'd like to see more of the Angkor Wat temples, I suggest you get on a plane and fly to Cambodia. Because some of the temples are spread out, we got a chance to drive through rural Cambodia. The most interesting place we saw was this floating village, located on Southeast Asia's biggest lake. These houses are on stilts because during the rainy season, the water level gets so high that it floods out the entire forest. We were here at the end of the dry season, so the roads in the village were just dirt, and the lake was a shallow pool of mud. Quick side note, we're both pretty certain that that river was full of typhoid. But no time for that. We're off to our last destination.
Welcome to Southeast Asia. We flew over from New York, we stayed one night in Hong Kong, and then we flew to Chiang Mai for 3 nights, and then we flew to Siem Reap for 3 nights, and then Bangkok for 2 nights.
And what are we going to go do today in Bangkok?
We're going to go see the Golden Palace, the reclining Buddha, and other things.
And can you explain why it's so foggy on the screen?
Because it's hot as hell.
That is correct.
And our hotel was about 40 degrees.
Fahrenheit. Outside it's 40 degrees centigrade.
Yes.
Our first day in Bangkok, we headed to the north part of the city to go to the famous weekend market. What we found were a lot of knockoff t-shirts and this uber cool bartender.
Love it.
The most impressive sights were in the original part of the city. They included some pretty impressive Wats, the royal palace, and a giant golden Buddha.
That is the armpit of the giant Buddha in Wat Pho.
And that is his huge head.
He's 46 meters long. So this is the temple outside the royal palace. There's a lot of gold leaf here.
The grounds of the royal palace had a school for traditional Thai massage. It made for a great 60-minute break from the rather excruciating heat outside. Well, that's it from Southeast Asia. Hope you enjoyed the video.